Hello, and welcome to this episode of Intuitive Journey with Desiree, and I am Desiree Holmes Scherini, your host. And in this episode, I want to talk about expectations. And with those expectations, I want to talk about just following our own intuition. And this is really close to my heart because it really brings back to how I ended up really diving deep into wanting to help others and life coaching, even though that was my background. And that's what I did straight out of college with a degree in psychology. Not until I faced an opportunity, there's putting positive words to it, an opportunity to recognize and pay attention to my own intuition, did it really have me face that so many people do not listen to theirs, and they get stuck and sad and upset waiting and trying to please other people, listening to other people. So that is a big part of what I try to help my clients with, because I find it's really universal in talking with other coaches. When it comes down to it, our own stories and the stories of our clients, it's almost always fear-based and not listening to our own voice, our own inner guidance. So what's bringing this up right now is I was a little bit triggered recently, and I knew that I had to think about that. Sorry, I got noises in the background, don't know if you can hear them, but I knew I had to think about that because something a friend of mine said made me feel defensive and rebellious and very teenager-like. I wanted to say, well, F them if they don't like me. And actually, I kind of feel like saying that anyway, because I had some advice about something that I was finding just a little joy in, humor. It was nothing, wrong with it, but I had a little advice that I might not be taken seriously as a life coach because of this sense of humor. And I was kind of set back. I thought, oh, I need to have this, I need to hide part of who I am if I want to be successful, is what she was saying. And I won't be able to help the people. They won't come listen to me if they don't take me seriously. And it really went into a whole area of not just that, but about being who you are, being who I am, about saying, well, who am I? Am I, somebody that listens to others? Do I listen to myself? Do I take advice and then kind of incorporate that? What do I do, and what's to my best interest and the interest of those that I work with? So I actually have been thinking about this for probably 3 weeks to a month, and anticipating and planning to write on it and talk about it here. And I really had to sort it. I had to think, what triggered me? How do I really feel about this? And what I came up with was how artificial I would be to try to hide part of my personality in order to help clients, because what I teach my clients is to allow themselves to be themselves, to listen to their own voice, to be authentic, to open up, to enjoy their life and stop listening to other people about who they should be, what they should do, how they should dress, everything like that. And I realized, what am I if I'm not an example of embracing everything about me? Then how do I share with everybody else to embrace everything about themselves? And if they find something they don't like about themselves, then change it. But don't change something about yourself if you like it and somebody else doesn't. Okay, there's of course the whole relationship thing, but I'm talking about in general. Other people's opinions are their opinions. And thank you very much for sharing. Right? And, it's true. People can give you their opinion, and I think that's great. And I will listen to other people's opinions and their ideas, and I appreciate it. And some of it I'll take, and some of it I'll try, and some of it I might keep, and some of it I might ditch. And some of it might set me off. And when it sets me off, then I know something needs to be sorted out. So that's what I want to talk to you about here today too, is when you hear something, when somebody says something, if it sets you off, is it because you agree with them? Or is it because it doesn't ring true to you inside and you feel like they're suggesting there's something wrong with you, right? So that's where it set me off. And this goes further, and I'm talking about myself here because it's sort of a universal thing. This will, lead right back to you, is people expect someone to fall within a box. Are you this? Are you that? What do you do for your job? What do you like to do? And for me personally, this has been sort of a dilemma because I am a life coach, I'm a hypnotherapist, I'm an artist, I'm an arts instructor, I'm a mother, and I also have a cat, okay? And I'm very interested in some things that people would call woo-woo, and then they distance themselves when they think that's weird. But I am not just one thing, and I'm not willing to give up any part of those things about me in order to please someone else. And that's where all those emotions and things start to flow, is if you come up to, say in a relationship, you come up to a point where somebody wants you to let go of part of you in order to please them. Maybe even a friendship. Mine happened to be in a marriage. I think I felt like I needed to let go part of who I was in order to please my partner, and that's why he's not my partner anymore. That's why the divorce happened. But there come these points where you're challenged. You're challenged to be honest and authentic with yourself, or to maybe, like, I'll call it, dumb yourself down to please other people. Now, all of us have those situations where we work in an environment, for example, and you've got, maybe your hair is long or your hair is short or whichever it is, but if you don't match your environment, but you got to keep your job, you can adjust your appearance for the appropriate setting, but that doesn't change who you are. That doesn't change your interests, right? It's sort of the same thing as, I'm not going to go to dinner wearing a swimsuit, right? And I'm not going to go to the beach wearing a suit, right? So I'm not talking about, sometimes people are like, well, I am who I am and you're not going to change me, and they're kind of in your face, like, I dare you to tell me whatever. And so some of us have to fight against that, because some of us might still have a little rebellious teenager in us, and not me, but where it challenges us to say, am I going to calm that down, or what am I going to do with this information? And you think about it, you analyze it, and you decide what's best for you and what's best for the whole situation. And there comes a balance. So what I'm saying to you here is now, passing it on over to you. What situations can you think of where you're not listening to your own intuition, to your own voice, and you're letting the voices and opinions and weight of your friends, family, society kind of silence you? Are you just going along? Are you staying put in a situation that doesn't really fulfill you, is not really you, doesn't make you happy, is not authentic to you? Because you're allowing that scale, that balance, to be more in their favor? Or, on the other hand, do you find yourself fighting all the time, trying to overcome and silence the voices and society around you with being very loudly yourself? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying maybe sometimes there's the right place for it, and you might be fighting the wrong battles in the wrong places. Because there is a place and a time for everything. And like I said, the beach at the swimsuit at the beach, and the suit at the meeting, the dress at dinner, right? There's a time and a place for everything, and it doesn't mean you're not being yourself. So when I guess I felt like when my friend suggested that people wouldn't take me seriously because of my sense of humor, that I thought, well, wow, oh no, I'm jeopardizing my business, my, helping people because they won't want to listen to me. And then I thought, well, you know what? I'd like to encourage people to have a sense of humor and be a little lighter and not be so serious. So really, the right people will want to work with me. And the people that want somebody who fits inside of a different box will want to work with them. And there's enough of everything to go around in the world. And as an artist, I know that's so true. There are abstract artists, and there are realistic artists, there are very detailed artists, there are very loose artists, and there is a market for each artist. There is a love of each kind of art. And one person might say, oh, I hate that crazy art, while the other person says, I love that. So in life, just like people, not everybody, is crazy about the same clothes or the movies or the food, or there's something for everybody. And I realized after thinking about it that I am who I am, and the right client, the right people will want to work with me. And same thing for you. The right environment, the right place, the right people, you'll gravitate toward that, and there will come a natural space for you. So we spend so much of our lives trying to be somebody we're not, or trying to please the opinions of others. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with some of that. Like I said, there's a scale, there's a balance, but there should be that balance. There's you in society. There's you dealing with the people around you. We're not, what they say, no man's an island. I don't know who said that, but somebody said that. So none of us are, unless you live on a desert island like Tom Hanks with a coconut, right? So unless you are isolated and all by yourself, there is some give and take, especially in relationships. There's some give and take. One of my favorite books I read was called The Dance of Intimacy by Harriet Lerner. And I definitely read it at a time I needed to hear it, and it explained so much. And within a relationship, for example, you come in like this, you're on the same track, and then as people go on, they change, they find new interests, and one might say, oh look, I'm interested in this over here, and the partner has choices. They can, and sometimes they're not intentional choices, it's simply like reactions they might have to that. And so the partner might say, oh, let me be interested with you, and join the person. Or they might say, I'd rather you didn't go over there, I'd like it better if you just stayed over here without those interests. And eventually they might just move a little bit, allowing that person their interests, but not denying that person their interests, and still living happily enough, right? Or they might do this pullback thing where they want that person to stay the same, so they do this pullback. They almost say, no, you shouldn't do that, that's not right, that's a stupid idea, and they pull that person away from their interest. And then you have them go like this if that person sticks with it. If that person follows this other, okay, I'll just stay the same, then they're not satisfied, they're not happy, and they're letting that weight be a little more heavy on the side of the opinion of the other person. Whereas, if they go too far over here, that other person may not come along. So we all have to give and take. But first you got to think about it. And like I said, as I thought about it and evaluated, analyzed what was my reaction for, and it was that. It was, my scale got imbalanced for a second there. For a second, that whole weight of my friend's opinion or thoughts on who I am or what I was doing got a little heavy there, and I felt off balance until I had to realize what was going on. So I challenge you to think about your life, maybe the past, maybe what's going on now, and see where you're out of balance when it comes to others' opinions and your own real authentic self and how you feel, what you think is right, what your intuition tells you is right. Take some quiet time, and sometimes we don't even know what we want because other people always tell us and we believe them. And then you don't know why you're unhappy. It's because it's not you. It's not you listening to your voice. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to cover here today. I had done some sorting for myself, and I thought it might be a valuable message for you because it really did go straight back to things that had bothered me in the past, and even life coaches get the blues. So I had to work on that for myself, and I said, that's what's going on. It was an old familiar pattern that snuck up on me, and I had a reaction to it, and I worked it through, and I'm like, you know what, I'm okay, and it's okay for my friend to have her opinion, and I can take it, listen to it, think about it, and keep it or let it go, or find some place in between. So I promise that, this is a podcast and a video, but I promise on here, at least not in the near future, I promise not to come on here in my swimsuit, because that just wouldn't be right. I will compromise, and I probably won't take my camera to the beach. So I'll stay within certain parameters, and all I'm saying is giving you the chance. You can think about it too. Think about what parameters you're willing to stay within, what works for you, and always just listen to your inner voice. Make sure you're hearing it, not everybody else. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time.